afternoon, everyone, and hello. My name is Richard Griffin. I'm currently the head of data at Tower Insurance, and my presentation today will be covering overcoming data and analytics program barriers. So leaping straight into it. Just bear with me while I share my screen. Okay, so common organizational barriers. So we'll be covering things today, or I'll be talking about items today like cultural resistance to change, lack of engagement prioritization, unrealistic expectation setting, organizational core data literacy, that's a good one, lack of relevant data and analytics skills and staff, again, another big one, that's a real challenge in the market today, lack of funding and lack of resource investment. Also at the end, I'll just be touching on the balancing act, which is a bit of an art, balancing that the possible with your ability to deliver and meet expectations. But firstly, we'll kick off cultural resistance to change. So really, resistance to change is a natural reaction when employees are asked, well, to change. People have trouble developing a vision of what life will look like on the other side of the change. So they'll tend to cling to the known rather than embrace the unknown. So the big things you'll see is to change, love it, fear it. But again, what you'll see is people will cling to that known, fear of the unknown, and really it's a bit of that inability to visualize life after the change. So I think the key here is to remember employees don't fear change, they fear the unknown. So overcoming resistance to change. Probably the biggest thing is identify the root cause, lack of awareness about why the changes are being made, fear of how the change will impact the job roles. Is it going to impact their role? Possibly complete job loss. Failed attempts at change in the past. We all know we've all been through a lot of change this year and maybe the last few years. You do 2 or 3 changes in 2 years, that's pretty hard on people. And lack of visible support and commitment from their immediate managers or people leaders. Involved in executive leadership, you cannot successfully implement change without support from all levels of the business. A big one, communicate effectively. That's massive. Leave nothing to question. But simply stating the obvious isn't enough. Leaders make a conscious effort to speak to individuals. Encourage camaraderie. Company-sponsored events. Go for drinks, lunches, bring people together. But expect resistance. Not everyone will welcome change. You need to have a bit of a plan to address pushback, including positive reinforcement. And look, try and do change right the first time. It is very unsettling. So, you know, it will have a negative impact on how employees will view future initiatives. So, lack of engagement, or how to overcome lack of engagement. So, benefits of stakeholder engagement, or why is stakeholder engagement important? Well, it helps to determine and prioritise the policy and strategic issues at stake. It avoids conflict between those making and those being affected by decisions. It assists in the framing of the strategy and plan. Look, get early involvement. Involve all the stakeholders early, and that establishes a precedent that their involvement is expected and important. And connect the dots and explain the benefits. People pay attention to things that benefit them, but they don't necessarily have to be users of a product to benefit from it. Your stakeholders may get value from the product simply because of the value it provides to other people in the organization. As we've got here on the slides, early involvement, connect those dots, product benefits, and get the business excited. Now, when prioritization goes wrong, because from the earlier slide we talked about prioritization, we've all probably seen this scenario at work. I know I have. What's the priority of your request? Oh my God, it's the highest of the high. It's the building's going to fall over if you don't do it. And as you see here, this person's like, well, this is a mockery. Everyone's making it the highest of the high. You know, what's one request that's not? And there's a nice lady on the right said, well, you know, anything you want done. But it's pretty straightforward. Business outcomes. Prioritization is pretty much always will be linked back to the business outcome versus effort. Obviously, high effort, low business outcome, don't do it. You're not going to touch it. It's fairly obvious. very low complexity effort, high, love it, embrace it. But the top right one, yeah, highly complex, but great business outcome. Do your due diligence, plan, design, take that time. Get your strategy right, get your design right. You don't want to come back and have to redo a bad design. Right. Unrealistic expectation setting. This is a great cartoon from Dilbert. How are you doing on my unspoken objectives? You guys can read the rest. I hate it when people always read everything off the slides. The goals in mind that I've never mentioned, how are they going? I'm nailing them. So he's just making this up, all right? But most leaders assume they've set clear expectations. However, research has shown this is one of the most poorly practiced aspects of leadership. A lack of clear expectations not only undermines performance and the results within a team, but it also impacts negatively on engagement, relationships, and teamwork. Set clear expectations. So, what does effective expectation setting look like? Okay, set expectations that stretch and inspire, but don't overstretch. You'll burn people out and you'll undermine their motivation, performance, and their well-being. Ensure you are clear on what those expectations are. Write them down. Get them written down so it's clear to everyone. Answer why each of the expectations is important to the overall goals and strategies. Link them up and the people can see what they're working on, how it affects the overall performance. The leader can explain the purpose with confidence and clarity and to the other stakeholders. Now, and discuss, wherever possible, agree those expectations. Share your proposed expectations with the team, get their input, get their feedback. Okay, poor organizational data literacy. That was a bit of a toughie. So I actually cheated. As you can see, I just went to Gartner, had a quick look. You can see how Gartner defines it. And there's a few things we can do to overcome poor data literacy, but it's pretty tough and it's a common thread. I talk to so many people, everyone's having this. One item I didn't have is that top item there. Build good data storytelling capability. I only came across this lately and I hadn't had this down here, talking to a few people. This is actually huge. I had established a data literacy program. I was going to talk about that. Highly capable data specialists, business analysts, data architects, get the translators to act as mediators and lead by example, right? Have fun, outside the box, plenty of training. But that good data storytelling capability, that's huge. Combined the bringing together of the data, the visualization, and the narrative, that will get massive buy-in. And that lead by example, use games, quizzes, any creative way to teach people, get them coming together. Lack of relevant data and analytics skills and staff. This is a good one. Basically, everyone is wrestling with the shortage of talent and fears the business next door has just hired that all-important guru. Fourth year running, the KPMG CIO survey has found that big data, analytics, the top of the skill shortage critical list again. It's not going to change anytime soon, but through a variety of approaches, we can dial down the size of this problem. So there's courses and training, data science courses online. Geoffrey Hinton, University of Toronto, he's got a course available. It's amazing. Some consider him the godfather of deep learning. Build or buy. What about renting? Some people forget renting. Large organizations are building applications, voice recognition, image classification. It's all available in the cloud, no long-term commitment. I'm also going to talk to, what slide on this would be incomplete without talking about the data scientist unicorn and purple people. So, data science courses, go online, look them up. There's plenty out there. There's good stuff. Purple people, we know what purple people are. It's that combination of the reds and the blues. And they're really, really valuable just through their versatility in combining business and technology skills. So purple people are they're the proverbial switch hitters. They've got great credentials and a solid reputation in business or IT, and then they switch sides. And their versatility creates an immediate impact. Coming down again, don't forget rent in the cloud, don't have to commit to everything, don't always have to buy and build. Rent. And data leaders, I think, craft a strategy document, manage a data team a bit like a business. Does work. So I'm just going to branch off sideways very quickly into something I found very interesting. When we're talking about lack of skills, engagement, relevant staff skills, this is the employee quadrant, engagement quadrant. You can see we've got the go-getters, the ambassadors, we've got the loyalty, trust down the bottom, performance up the top left, and of course, detractors. They're there. No one really wants them in the team. They're pretty hard. Ambassadors, we love them, driven, reliable, looks out for the long term, it's fantastic. But I saw something today which really, really resonated with me, and it was a YouTube video by Simon Sinek. A lot of you would have seen his videos. I'm sure a lot of millennials will have and hate him with a passion. Talks about them. And what he talks about is the people just under the ambassadors. They're good. They're very good. They might not be the top, but they're also incredibly loyal. And those people are really worth having, and you'd have them over your go-getters, because your go-getters are often ready to jump ship. They're not loyal. They might be high-performing, and we've got great ways to measure that, but they often can be a little bit toxic and have a toxic effect on the team. So, following on from that, the relevant DNA skills. So stop focusing on that one person. So as data science teams have grown, businesses have moved away from trying to find that one person to fill all the different roles. Instead, companies have realized the benefits of hiring employees with specialized complementary skills. Companies are seeking candidates with stronger soft skills that can complement a data science team. Companies should look to build a team that incorporates data scientists, IT employees, and business analysts, or people that can translate findings to business value. Open communication between these three teams, working as one, reduces the risk of models not being deployed, or of course, improper infrastructure issues. Right, lack of funding and resource investment. Basically, you've got to focus on business outcomes, and that tied back to one of my earlier slides around the prioritization and the business outcomes. Opportunities must be credible and solve real business problems. You've got to show how there'll be a better customer experience and where savings can be reinvested. Solve cross-company problems. Conversations are going to go much, much better if you propose cross-organizational solutions that integrate with existing software to improve business outcomes. Integrate advanced tech. Leverage the AI and machine learning. It's there, it's real, because those will give they power more intelligent and forward-looking decisions, and that's going to lead to faster and easier solutions. Lastly, second to last actually, articulate your path to the business value. The CFO doesn't want to hear about how upgrading some legacy IT tool will make your team a little bit more efficient. They care about tangible business outcomes, strong return on investment, and fast time to value. How are you improving productivity? Will there be a return they can reallocate? Can they count on these benefits long term, like 5 years or more, at least 5 years? And lastly, a great one, phase strategically. Enable an early, highly visible, quick win, because that will gain support for future funding. Right, balancing act. I like this because this is a real challenge. I've been in IT for 29 years and I don't think I've ever seen this gotten right. That quote, a little bit cynical perhaps. You can either have software delivered on time or good software, but you can't have both. I'm sure some people disagree. Agile evangelists would say you can, and of course, flexible deadlines. So the key issue from all types of software development really that I've ever seen is unachievable deadlines. And there's your project management triangle from PMBOK. You know you've got time, cost, and scope, and you get any of those, you compromise any of those, you're going to affect quality. We know that. It's pretty common. The biggest thing is flexible deadlines. It produces quality software. It's known to have the happiest developers and happiest customers. No scope compromises. Cost effective due to minimal rework required. Now you ask any operational team, that's a killer. How often things go live and they're scrambling for months, often a year, to get the thing stable while expected to continue to deliver on other items. Deadline flexibility, there's always deadlines, but far from them being set in stone, if they understood that there's a little bit of flex and that quality will trump everything, that's the bee's knees. Those ones of flexibility, those projects will produce the best software, happiest developers, and then most successful. So that balancing act, there we go. Worst thing you can do is tell the business their problem will be resolved one way and then offer a contradictory solution or timeline. That is the absolute worst thing you can do. So to manage expectations, openly discuss the solutions, provide clear timelines, be transparent and honest, remain optimistic but realistic, and follow up regularly. Continue to focus on the big picture and make smart, strategic decisions. Those decisions will pay you back later. Be careful on short-term compromises that will require revisiting later. They hurt. So just to wrap up pretty much what I've gone over in the last 18, 19 minutes, there's the topics on the thing, on the left, my topics for today. So culture resistant to change, do change well, first time. Lack of engagement and prioritization, key, involve all stakeholders early. Unrealistic expectation setting, set realistic expectations, stretch and inspire. Don't burn your people out though. Organizational poor data literacy, get your data literacy program up and going. Lack of relevant data and analytics skills and staff. This one's probably a bit of my passion really. Use renting, leverage the cloud, look for complementary skill sets, don't be frightened to promote internally. Remember those high loyal trust people who are pretty good performers, look to them. And that lack of funding, tangible business outcomes, strong return on investment. Well, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed today.